Howard's radio station. Hello. And you guys briefly spoke about women settling for lower wages. Why do you think women do that? They settle for lower wages instead of trying to compete and get paid as much as men get paid.
I think it's also it's about time. You know, it does take ability sometimes to fight the issue. You know, it's like if you've just lost your job and you're trying to bring money into the house to take care of your kids or take care of yourself, and you get offered a job, especially in this economy right now. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be mistreated and do it because they're going to get any cash, let alone the appropriate amount of money they're supposed to be making. So that's really, you know, it sometimes can feel like a privilege to go and fight for the greater cause. Nice to meet you as well. But that's why we need to join together. It's when you're not doing it on an individual stance all the time, and you're able to sort of collaborate with a bunch of other people who are saying, okay, this is, you know, injustice, this is inequality. That's where you can actually get something going. But to have that one stand fight by yourself in a small community where you have no other resources, it could feel like, okay, I could make this point, or I could have some food on my table. You know, that it makes it a very, very difficult choice, I think, so for people.
Is there anything you want to vomit?
And that's what people take advantage of.
Right.
You know, that's what the workforce takes advantage of.
Do you want to vomit or do anything about sexism? Do you have any hopes for him?
Absolutely. I definitely.
An issue?
It's definitely an issue, but there are many issues on the table. We're talking about the environment. We're talking about the economy. We're talking about war. We're talking about education. We're talking about health. I mean, every single one. The arts. You know, everything is on the table right now for him to deal with. And you know, even just as a statement as to how he's with his children and how he is who his wife is, and what an incredible platform and voice she has. I think it would be really interesting to see how, in that way, it gets divvied up, and how they address certain concerns. Because I don't believe she's going to be a passive first lady, and that could be a very interesting issue for her to try to tackle. As you know, he's combating quite a lot of other, you know, issues himself. But I think the fact that he speaks to it is tremendous. And having a vice president who's done so much about, you know, women who've been battered and abuse issues, I think, and equality for women is also very strong, and it's clearly something that that Vice President Joe Biden is very concerned with. So I think what we do have is a very female-friendly first family and vice president.
And with Michelle Obama being his wife, do you think the limelight is going to be shined more on the issues confronting sexism? Do you think it's going to be a bigger issue now? Because
I think, well, even just the fact of, you know, who he was, you know, running against in the primaries, I think is why, you know, sexism and women's rights and issues are just clearly inherent to the entire election, and has been a focus for 2 years. It would be crazy for it to go away, and I think, you know, it's going to be definitely a major conversation point for quite some time, because there are still a lot of women who are upset that, you know, a black man was chosen over a white woman, you know, and whether even it being race, just being another man winning over a woman, you know, I think that's going to have to be satiated. And the fact that, you know, he's someone who sat down immediately, the whole idea of transition to power, I think he was the most likely candidate to transition to power the best, just because of the kind of campaign he ran, the kind of person he seems to be. And I think what's going to be very interesting is how he's going to reach out to the female voters and the female population that were very specifically dismayed with the fact that they didn't get what they wanted.
And as a woman, what do you think the biggest mistake Sarah Palin made?
As a woman?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. As a woman, I think she's a particular woman. She's an individual, and I think you know, that's the thing about Barack. You know, it's not like just a black candidate won. He was the particular man that he was. Just any black man running for office, I don't think would have gotten to the place that he did. The same thing with Sarah Palin. I think that she was picked from fair, you know, obscurity and brought into a space that she just wasn't really qualified or ready to kind of compete in. And I think that made a really interesting question about what kind of a woman she was. She definitely didn't have the support that Hillary did. So I think it's just the type of woman that she was, and the type of woman she was not necessarily qualified to be vice president. So it doesn't make her not smart. So I always am annoyed when people say, well, she was stupid. She wasn't stupid. She just wasn't qualified, and that's a big deal. You know, she very much worked very hard, and she's very young, and I don't think we've seen the last of her. You know, she definitely went through a very interesting boot camp to try to be vice president. I think she's going to continue working hard on that.
Thank you. Thank you.